Hello everybody and welcome back to Nerdy Miniatures, and in today's video I am going to be showing you how I painted the Witch King of Angmar to look like he was walking out of Minas Morgul itself. So if you want to see how I did it, then just keep on watching. If you guys have been following us for a long time, you know myself and Mr. Nerd are very big fans of Lord of the Rings, so I've got the 9 ring wraiths, and of course the leader of those wraiths is the Witch King of Angmar, which I'm painting today. Whilst deciding how to paint him, I looked at some reference photos and I found a piece of artwork which kind of just showcases the Witch King encapsulated with green and blue flames, and I got a bit of inspiration from that. So instead of just doing regular highlights, I decided to use that and incorporate that into today's video. You'll see on the screen now the photo that I was inspired by. Very, very cool artwork. So knowing that's my reference photo, that's the inspiration, let's get into it. So first things first, you're going to spray paint the entire thing using Chaos Black. And that is your black layer done. Very simple. Just make sure you get a really good coat all over to make sure there are no grey areas left behind. Next, going in with lead belcher, you're then going to cover all of the metallic elements. So that's the mask, that's the sword, that's the mace, and anything else that is on the body. So next, after I'd done my silver, I dry brushed Corax white all over the entire figure, so when I applied my contrast paint next, it would actually really show up. For the contrast paint, I used Hex Wraith Flame, quite a thick layer all over all the areas where I dry brushed the white. For example, this was all over the robes. Next, over the top of that, I went over the entire thing using Agrax Earthshade. For this, I also applied it to the metallics to create a dingy, dirty look rather than just a faded look. Nolan all works as well, but I prefer Agrax for this particular figure. Next, it was time to go in and add some highlights and lowlights. So picking up dried bark first, I went over around the bottom edges of the figure and a few kind of the darker, deeper areas, and I applied some of this there just to kind of add a little bit of dimension without taking away from the overall darkness of the figure. Now, I was going to go over and apply just some straight silver highlights straight on top, but I wanted them to actually make a difference and stand out. So first things first, I went over the top with some Corax white and let that dry before going in with my lighter silver metallic shade, and for that I use Ironbreaker. Now it was time to move on to my green highlights to create that glow effect, that green look for Minas Morgul. So for this, I went in with the layer color Cabalite Green. I mostly did edge highlighting with this, focusing mostly underneath and on the bottom, where if the glow was coming up from the base, which I do later, it would actually show. Now speaking of that base, I went over the entire base using Corax White. I did 2 layers of this just to make sure the greens I would apply would really, really stand out. And for the greens on top, I mixed the contrast paint, Hex Wraith Flame, and that Cabalite Green, and I mixed them together to create a really dark, glowy effect. Now, as far as the base goes, I actually had to change my mind. The luminescent green wasn't really doing it for me, so I was inspired both by Minas Morgul and also the Northern Lights. So I decided to go in and mix Abaddon Black and Cabalite Green together to create a deep, dark emerald colour, which I laid as a base. And then whilst it was still wet, I swirled in some Corax White. Once dry, I went over the top with Hex Wraith Flame, and then mixed a tiny bit again of the Cabalite Green over the top to kind of swell them together and create a contrast. And now I have to say I'm very happy with how the base turned out. And that is it. That is the entire Witch King of Angmar. Super simple. By going with the black paint, I kind of take away a lot of the hard work from this, but it was still a lot of fun. And I wanted to go in and do the green highlights, most just because I wanted it to be a bit more fun. I didn't want to go in with standard grey highlights, although this is something you could definitely do if you prefer. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the figure and how he looks. I think he looks pretty cool, and I look forward to using him when we actually play our Lord of the Rings games. Down in the description you will find 2 links, the first to our Discord channel. We are a small community slowly growing and we'd love it if you join us over there. And then the second is to my lore channel, so if you enjoy lore topics on topics like Warhammer, Lord of the Rings, The Witcher and so on, we'll love it over there. Please feel free to have a look. Anyway, that'll be it from me. Have a wonderful day or night wherever you are in the world. And as always, peace out guys.